Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're putting on our detective hats, acting as biological detectives, really, to look at some incredibly fascinating notes on the Kribensis Cichlid, also known as pelvicachromis-pulcher. We are going to explore exactly how highly specific environmental tweaks can trigger absolutely amazing biological responses. You know, this isn't just about your routine tank maintenance. Oh no, it's about understanding how deeply these fishes' behavior is tied to the specific, tiny world we build for them.
So, picture this. Imagine looking into your tank one afternoon and noticing this profound physical transformation happening right before your very eyes. It immediately begs the question, why in the world are these fish suddenly turning magenta? Well, according to the source notes we're analyzing today, this isn't just some random shift in pigmentation. Actually, it's the very first major clue to a massive behavioral shift playing out right there in the habitat.
Normally, you'd look in and expect to see a relatively undisturbed substrate at the bottom of the tank, along with just standard coloration on the fish. But the notes detail a pretty stark contrast. Suddenly, both fishes are actively digging into the substrate, literally clearing out this wide, flat space right in front of their little terracotta pot. And going hand in hand with this intense, almost frantic landscaping effort is that vibrant magenta coloration, which is specifically focused right on their bellies.
So what does this all mean? Well, these specific physical clues, the meticulous landscaping around the pot, and that sudden vibrant pop of color, lead us to one very specific conclusion. These fishes have likely already mated. It's just a wonderful example of how observing these subtle little changes can reveal their hidden instinctual lives. I mean, they didn't just decide to redecorate their tank on a whim. This is a powerful, ingrained biological imperative playing out right in front of us.
Now, the absolutely crucial next step is figuring out exactly how this environment was manipulated to encourage this natural phenomenon in the first place. We're shifting gears from pure observation to intentional biological engineering. Think about it. How do you convince a Kribensis Cichlid that your little glass box is the absolute perfect place to settle down and start a family? Well, it turns out it requires some very deliberate, precise choices about their surroundings.
The author's successful setup basically boils down to 3 core environmental modifications. Step 1, you've got to provide a secure, sheltered space. In this case, they used a classic terracotta pot as an artificial cave. Step 2 involves adding coral substrates right at the back of the tank. And step 3, which is incredibly important for this particular species, is utilizing fine construction sand for the floor. This exact combination perfectly sets the stage for what comes next.
But here's the thing. The physical arrangement, that's really only part of the equation. The real catalyst here is a 90% water change. 90%. Just think about what that means for a second. You're swapping out almost all of their water all at once. That is a dramatic, incredibly sudden shift in their habitat. But as the notes reveal, it is absolutely vital to triggering this whole breeding process.
And here is exactly why that massive water change is so necessary. Out in the wild, heavy rainfall signals a huge influx of fresh water and food, which tells the fish, hey, it's the perfect time to breed. By replacing 90% of the tank's water, you are actively simulating a heavy downpour. You are effectively tricking their natural instincts by recreating the exact weather patterns they rely on out in nature. It's like bringing the rainy season straight into your living room.
Now, to fully understand that specific choice of fine sand we mentioned earlier, we really have to look closely at the biology of dwarf cichlids. The Kribensis has a notably small mouth, which is coupled with this really strong instinctual drive to sift and dig through fine substrates. If you use large, chunky gravel, you're literally fighting their anatomy. The finer the sand, the easier it is for them to exhibit their natural, healthy behaviors.
The source notes emphasize a really important secondary benefit here too. Providing incredibly fine construction sand doesn't just keep the fish happy. It gives the aquarist a crystal-clear visual indicator to verify their behavior. When you provide the right medium, and then you suddenly see that wide, flat, cleared space in front of the pot, you know for sure the environment is working. The fish are basically communicating their biological readiness right to you through their landscaping.
So with the environmental puzzle completely solved, you've got the cave in place, the fine sand provided, and the rainy season simulated, and with all the biological signs pointing to success, what is left to do? Well, the notes thoughtfully conclude that nature simply must take its course. We enter the waiting game. All that's left now is to sit back and carefully observe over the coming weeks to see what develops from this expertly engineered setup.
It leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to end our explainer on, really reminding us of the incredible power we have to mimic complex, vast ecosystems right on our living room tables.
We've just seen how precise substrate choices and a sudden influx of fresh water can completely activate these ancient instincts. So if a simple water change can effectively simulate an entire rainy season in a tiny glass box, what other natural wonders can we recreate and observe in our own homes?